As human beings, we have different motivations that help us function and thrive in this world. But when we take them to the excess, they can literally drive us out of this world. We are going to explore 3 of them and listen to the end to find out what the antidote to it is. Our will motivates us to acquire and protect our possessions. But if you take that to extreme, it turns into jealousy. And jealousy can drive us to distraction. Now, like a lot of things, there's a continuum when it comes to jealousy. The most extreme is someone who begrudges other people's success of something that he lacks in himself. A lesser degree is someone who can't tolerate someone who is wealthier than themselves. They see it as a sign of prestige and honor. And if someone is wealthier or has more than themselves, it eats them up. The most tolerable is someone who sees what other people has and they just want what other people have. But all of this, the whole continuum of jealousy, of wanting what other people has, it's emotionally debilitating. It saps us of our energy. For example, we know the famous story of Korach, right? He was so jealous that Moses was given a position and he wasn't given a position. That what happened was he went and he fought against Moses. He argued with him, and the result was he questioned whether God had actually given Moses the position, and God had given him the position. And what ended up happening is that he got swallowed up by a pit. We see there that the jealousy that he had because Moses had a position and he didn't, literally drove him out of this world. So what's the antidote to that? So someone once came to a rabbi and complained. He said, I have a shop and someone else opened up a business across the road from me. He's taking all my clients. And the rabbi told him, listen carefully. He says, have you ever seen a horse being led to the trough to get water? What happens? The horse gets there and the horse kicks at it. Why? Because the horse looks into the water and sees the reflection of the horse and thinks there's another horse that's taking my water. He says, the same thing. You think your competitor's taking XYZ from you? No. God has destined us everything and will give us everything that we need. So nobody can take what is ours. And that's such a powerful thing to remember when we see what someone else has, is to remember, I have what I need and no one else can take that away from me. The second thing is we all have a desire for food and physical pleasure. This literally sustains us as human beings, but taken to the excess, it leads to gluttony. It leads to unhealthy habits. It can be debilitating. Even permitted things can become obsessive. It's like drinking salty water. If you drink salty water, the more you drink, the thirstier that you get. Now, obviously, it's important to note here that it doesn't mean that wealth and comfort impede a person from living a good, godly life. But the desire and the lust for money, for physical pleasures, that is what can derail a person. Not the wealth itself. The story is told of Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, who was fabulously wealthy, and towards the end of his life, he picked up both hands and he pointed to his 10 fingers and he said, I can testify that even though I was fabulously wealthy, not one of my fingers used anything for something that wasn't for a good purpose. So it's not about the wealth, it's about how we use it. And we can live a comfortable life as long as we use it for the right purposes, as long as we use it for a godly purpose. And the third thing is respect. As human beings, we all deserve respect, but the love and the desire and the pursuit of respect and honor is an awful trait. Anyone who's ever met someone who needs constant praise and constant approval and constant honor and respect knows for themselves how awful it is. It makes a person so dependent on other people's approval instead of having an internal sense of self-esteem, because they realize that as a human being, they are respectful. They constantly desire and want and need that approval from others. The only time a desire for honor and respect is legitimate is if we accept it in order to enhance respect for God or for Torah values. Otherwise, it's addictive and it makes us dependent on other people's approval. Interestingly, these three vices are in chronological order. A person is naturally from birth born with jealousy. You see, even young children are jealous of what someone else has. They want everything mine, mine, mine. But as we become more mature, we develop a lust, a desire for physical pleasures. But the desire for honor often only comes later in life as our desires become more sophisticated. And the Mishnah is telling us that these three vices, jealousy, the lust, and the desire for honor, can literally remove a person from the world. And it's not just talking about this world in terms of making bad decisions and in terms of literally eating a person up from the inside, but it's also talking about the world to come, because they are so often the root of so many sins. It's like spiritual suicide. Jealousy can be a source of interpersonal strife, right? We can talk bad about someone else. We can take revenge. Lust, it can destroy a person, their relationships. Both of those can be rectified by repentance, but a person who has a strong desire for honor won't have the humility to ask someone else for forgiveness, and they won't be able to earn their way back into the world to come. Now, let me ask you, is there a way that we can use these three desires for good? And the answer is yes. When we are jealous of another person's good deeds, that causes us to do even more good. If we take our passion and we direct it towards a godly life, towards Torah and towards mitzvahs and to doing good, that's a positive. And when we give honor, when we give respect to others, then we are taking these three vices and we are using them to enhance our life in this world and enhance the entire world, and it will take a person into eternity. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you so much for spending your time and listening to this. If you benefited, if you found it beneficial, please leave a review or a rating. Send me your feedback. You can find me on Instagram at Gila Ross, and please share the word. Thank you so much for listening.